Still speaking that country grammar. This the heart of the South from Alabama. Hit the field like it's wartime. Now watch the tide come rolling in that power eye formation. Boy, I'm about to go for the strike on 1st and 10. And that run game on stick and moving them wide outs. They on jet fuel. And that old line, it don't back down. And that quarterback is gon' act a fool. Taking over Bama like Nick Saban. We a nightmare like Wes Craven. On the field, boy, we be misbehaving. That defense gon' break you down. And we squad up and go pound for pound. Still number one in the nation, boy. And we ready set to go round for round. True facts, you can check the stats. Clutch like Jalen, boy, I know it hurts that we the direct in the SEC and the CLP. Cause we bomb first. Showtime on the big stage. When it's crunch time, we make big plays. 4th and 1 on the goal line with 10 seconds left. It's a run play. Alabama, I represent. Alabama, my residence. That crimson tide, that elephant. Alabama, my stomping ground. From Birmingham through Huntsville, from Gumptown through Mobile. Taking over Alabama like Nick Saban. We a nightmare like Wes Craven. Flexing hard like Arm and Hammer. Still speaking that country grammar. This the heart of the South from Alabama.
I'm from sweet home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. And you better be on your bed when you see the tide rolling through. Yeah, you know we play to win. No, we ain't gonna lose. And you gotta be hard by it. Play with us, you gon' get bruised. Hey, we going to the ship. Going to the ship. Look like Auburn trying to get us caught. We ain't gon' need trip. But we taking over like Nick Saban. We undefeated, they big hate. Us to lose, they big weight. See it big, now they long face. Making these plays to the playoffs. Practicing, we don't take days off. Working until we get paid off. Roll kiss the time, we gon' take off. First down to the field goal, we'll take it all for the window. Down said, how you go in, bro? Hey, what's that school we gon' win for?
Alabama, I represent. Alabama, my residence. That crimson tide, that elephant. Alabama, my stomping ground. From Birmingham through Huntsville, from Gumptown through Mobile. Taking over Bama like Nick Saban. We a nightmare like Wes Craven.
Nightmare like Wes Craven.
Flexing hard like Arm and Hammer. Still speaking that country grammar. This the heart of the South from Alabama. Alabama, my residence. That crimson tide, that elephant. Alabama, my stomping ground. From Birmingham through Huntsville, from Gumptown through Mobile. Taking over Bama like Nick Saban. We a nightmare like Wes Craven.
Nightmare like Wes Craven.
Flexing hard like Arm and Hammer. Still speaking that country grammar. This the heart of the South from Alabama. Hit the field like it's wartime. Now watch the tide come rolling in that power eye formation. Boy, I'm about to go for the strike on 1st and 10. And that run game on stick and moving them wide outs. They on jet fuel. And that old line, it don't back down. And that quarterback is gon' act a fool. Taking over Bama like Nick Saban.
After getting your turkey on, it is time to get into some Alabama football talk. Talk about this Iron Bowl, and what better way to do that than to be rocking and rolling with the #1 forum for your Crimson Tide. In my own words, Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, touchdown. Alabama Magazine bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, if you haven't done so already, give a thumbs up, drop a like on the show, hit that subscribe button right now. Tell your friends to subscribe right now. Turn all of those notifications on. Hit that little bell so that way you can have all of your alerts, news, notes, entertainment, everything needed possible on Alabama football. Got you covered right here. We also are streaming the show to you on Facebook and Twitter as well. We got a lot to get to. Iron Bowl tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Jordan-Hare Stadium. CBS will have the call on the matchup. We'll have Justin Smith a little bit later on in the show, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, breaking down the recruiting trail for 2022, that class and beyond, and who might the visitors be on the campus of Auburn for this matchup, as Alabama's looking to bring some more guys for the 2022 class, 2023 class, and beyond. But we want you guys being a part of the show. Blow the phone lines up. Let your passion ooze through. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number to dial to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Daily Super Chat goes $75 right there. Appreciate the love coming from all of you. But before we get into topic number one, we're going to swing it over to the maestro in the production room, the head honcho, John Ivory. What talk your talk saying, baby?
What's going on? What's going on to the chat? Appreciate y'all tuning in today. It's Iron Bowl time. Looking forward to this game. Let's do some shout outs here. I see William Bryant in the chat. What's going on? Deborah, what's going on? I see you. Joe, I see you. What's going on? We got Crimson Wave in here. What's going on? Gucci Tide is in here. L. Howard is in here. What's going on? Who else we got? We got Naomi. What's going on? Anthony, I see you in here. Jimmy, the bad man. Clay is in here. Roll Tide and Rise Up is in here. Who else we got? Johnson Jefferson is in here. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Chris Martin's in here. Keith Lindsay is on Facebook. And we got who else? Who else we got? Aaron McGuire. What's going on? I see you. Appreciate y'all tuning in. James Knox, I see you. Gelato Bob Burton, Big Buck, Jonathan Harris. The chat is lit right now. Silas Grace, Willie 351 just came here. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Just giving y'all some shout outs. Make sure y'all light the chat up. Make sure you call in the call segments. I'm gonna turn over to Steven.
Absolutely appreciate my man John Ivory getting those comments read out there on the show. As always, this is your show, your platform, your network here, your space and opportunity to let your voice be made known here. But we get into topic number one of the conversation going back to Wednesday. Coach Saban had his Hey Coach show prior to Thanksgiving, and he let out a rant. He let the fans have it. He really went on a fiery tirade in terms of calling out the which he coined it self-absorbed, Alabama fans. And the rant was big. I mean, the rant was big time. Everybody picked it up. Everybody heard it. Everybody had their opinions on it. And for me, I kind of saw it from both sides of the coin. I saw it from Coach Saban's angle, but yet I also saw it from the angle of the fans. However, the main question in all of this is, because this was the most animated we have seen Saban all year. So the main thought is that the turning point? Is Coach Saban's rant the turning point to get this Alabama team on the national championship push? Because at the end of the day, U.S. fans want to see this team go to the college football playoff, go to the national championship, and win it all. But is this rant, was this latest calculated move from Coach Saban the one to finally get this team or put this team on the championship push? And among the things Coach Saban mentioned he spoke on the fans not being grateful. He spoke on the fans kind of being entitled. His main message was, when I first got here, we were just happy to win games. We were just happy to compete. We were just happy to be competitive. We were just happy to be good. Now, nobody's happy that we win a game. Now nobody's happy that we're competitive. Now nobody's happy that we're good. Because we're not blowing teams out by 40, 50, 60 points, people feel like there's something wrong with us. I mean, I don't get that. I'm tired of people being self-absorbed here. And while I get where he's coming from, because there was a point in time where Alabama was not competitive. Alabama had fell off the platform of winning championships that Coach Paul Bryant and Coach Gene Stallings had the program on. I get it. Going through the Mike DuBois years, the Dennis Franchione years, the Mike Shula years. Those were some lean years. Alabama was not winning at a consistent clip. Alabama was not dominating teams. Yes, people still said Roll Tide, absolutely, but it just did not have that same feeling as it has now, just due to the difficulties that those years, brought the program. So I can understand where Saban's coming from, but I can also see it from the fan perspective, because I think Saban at times doesn't get that the fans vibe off of his words. Sometimes you are snared by your own words. Hear me out here. Remember when Saban first got to Tuscaloosa 15 years ago, and he stepped off the plane in 2007. Do you remember the first thing Nick Saban said? I kind of remember his first sentence verbatim. When Saban stepped off the plane and he looked at the crowd, he said, "We're going to give you a product you can be proud of. You, the fan, you, the passionate listener, you, the supporter. We're going to give you a product you can be proud of." And fans have held on to that statement, and they've held Saban accountable to that statement the last 15 years. So when Alabama fans see a product on the field that they're not happy with, they're not rocking with, they're going to let you know. They're going to let you feel exactly what they're feeling. Why? Just simply holding Saban accountable for what he said 15 years ago. I mean, he also made a statement that said when other teams play Alabama, we want them to feel like we hate playing against that team. We hate playing against Alabama. And when fans hear that, they go, yes, dominance, excellence, yeah, rip them out, tear them up, yeah, dominance. That's what fans want to see. And when fans don't see that, then they go, what's going on here? What's going on? I thought teams were supposed to be afraid to play Bama. I'm seeing teams pimp walk in the Bryant-Denny Stadium saying, yeah, we can take on Bama. Yeah, we want to play Bama. Yeah, bring on Bama. At one point in time, teams used to walk off the bus and off the plane scared to death, ready to pee their pants. Why? Because mentally, Alabama not only had the edge of they knew they were going to beat the opponent, but the opponent itself knew, yeah, we ain't going to beat Bama. The opponent mentally itself knew we ain't going to beat the Tide. So a lot of times I get what Coach Saban's saying, because he has a point. Are the expectations at times a little too unfair? Sure. Are the players giving their best effort? Absolutely. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that they're not giving their best effort. And yes, the expectations at times can be a bit unfair, but when you win and when you start to consistently win, that level of expectation rises, right? Not only are you trying to be good, now you're trying to be great. Now you're trying to be elite. Now you're trying to be marquee. It's just like in music. When you come out with your first album, you just hoping people will give it a listen. You just hope that people will bump a couple of tracks down the road. You just hope that your music hits the ear of the people. But once you start getting good at that music thing and you become more of a household name and a mainstream name, now it becomes bump being good. I want to be legendary. I want all of my tracks to grab your ear. I want all of my tracks to grab your attention. Every album got to be a masterpiece. Every song got to be streaming on Spotify and Apple Music and iHeartRadio and iTunes. We're trying to win Grammys, MTV Music Awards, BETs, American Music Awards. We going after these honors now, because now I've gone from just having people want to hear the music to I want to be legendary. And that's the same thing where Alabama football is concerned. When you start winning and you win consistently, and you're winning championships and recruiting and putting players in the NFL, as the win rises, the expectation rises. the thought process rises. And that's kind of what Coach Saban has built here. So I can see it from the standpoint of the fans saying, hey, if we are concerned about our team, we want to see our team dominate. We want to see our team be the best, because if we're not concerned about our team, are we really true fans? But then I also see it from Coach Saban's perspective of, hold on here. At one point, we just want to be good. We just want to be competitive. You're putting all of these unwanted expectations on this team. So I see it from both ways. However, the main question, though, is this the turning point? Is this the moment where the players put it all together after seeing their head coach have their back, after seeing their head coach take the punches, take the criticism, take the heat, to take all he had to take there in that, in the head coach show and giving it back to some folks? After seeing your head coach have your back like that, is this the turning point where the players put it all together, the players turn it around, the switch gets flipped on, and we see a team that can, from this moment to the national championship, go all out in terms of winning that national championship? Because to me, when a coach gets behind his players, when a coach takes the heat for his players, the players fight for that coach even more. They're like, man, coach got my back. Man, coach rocking with me. Man, coach loved me. I can't let coach down now. I can't disappoint coach now. Because coach done sat there and he's saying that, he behind me. He with me. He rolling with me. So now I got to make sure that I don't let my performance fall. I don't let my performance slip. I don't let my performance be less than my best, less than stellar, less than great. So with what happened, with this calculated move that Nick Saban made on Wednesday, is this the turning point where Alabama kicks it into high gear, goes into high gear, and from this moment to the national championship, it's able to stack together some great outings to win the national title? This right here, folks, is going to be interesting. But I see it from Coach Saban's side. I see it from the fans' perspective. But now it's time to see everything put together. Bama's been kind of up and down all year. Now it's the time to lock in, lock and load, get this thing moving towards the college football playoff. But we go to a break right here on the show, folks. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. When we get back, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your texts, your chats, your conversations, and we get to it after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
And we are back into the action here, folks, from the break of a number one ticket here for Bama. Football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith. Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Iron Bowl Eve. The game tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Crimson Tide and those Auburn Tigers. CBS will have the call on the matchup. We're going to go to some super chats right now. And first and foremost, we got Gucci Tide with a $5 donation in the super chats. Appreciate the love there from Gucci Tide. Behind him, is that Jimmy Clay? That is Jimmy Clay. Jimmy Badman Clay with that $25 donation helping us out here. And look at William Bryan. William Bryan says, hold on, let me throw my Ulysses S. Grant in this hat. That $50 donation coming from my man William Bryan. Appreciate him. Then we got a Justin Jones, that $10 donation from Justin Jones. Appreciate all of you. The daily super chat goal of $75 has been met by you, the fans. Thanks for all that you do and helping us be your show, your platform, your channel, your space for Alabama football. But we go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab a call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, Stephen M., what's good? It's your boy, Senator Hines, a.k.a. Coach Smoot, man. What's going on, my brother?
Going good, Senator. Going good, man. Just had to give my thoughts there because I understand Saban's perspective from the rant on Wednesday. I also get it from the fan perspective. But the main thing here is when you got a coach back at his players like that, taking the heat off those guys are going to want to fight even harder for him.
Correct, man. Honestly, if we're going to be honest, I know everybody loves Saban. You know, I'm a faithful supporter of Coach Saban, all that good stuff. But let's be honest, that was a desperation move. A smart coach and a coach that knows how to reel a team, they know that was a desperation move. Not necessarily for the simple fact that, you know, our team is not good. But that was a desperation move, what they call a clarion call to the players. Like, hey, stop listening to the media. Listen to the coaching staff. Listen to what we're trying to get you to do. Stop worrying about the Bama standard, you know, quote unquote, the Bama standard. Be the best player that you can be. A lot of the players on our roster had 5-star ratings because they enjoyed football coming into their collegiate careers. They were able to go out there, make plays, do what they do, grind hard, leave it all out on the field, and not worry about the pressure of being an Alabama player. It's all cool and good when you're an Alabama recruit. You know, you get the hype. You can expect people to come in your games and see you as a wide receiver get triple and quadruple covered as an Alabama commit, you know. But when you get to the college level and it's time for you to beat that other good player across the field from you, it's up to you to make that decision and do the work to get to that level to be able to win those matchups, to win that, you know, to be on focus, to complete and execute the game plan. And that's where I believe Saban was trying to direct the energy, not necessarily to mislead the fans that y'all are unsupported, because he did say some truth about, hey, self-absorbed. And self-absorbed fans, that's what I call the fair weather fans, Steve, the ones that be, you know, they can't show up when Bama winning and handling business, but as soon as we get scored on, BG, whoever else that was in the chat, them that be in the chat on game day, they come in there, oh, Bama need to do this. Oh, this team is trash. This is a growing, maturing team. This team was so young. I'm grateful for the process that this team has had to go through, and I think they are too, because we are being forced into some moves that should have happened way early in the season. You know, especially with personnel, Steven. I can't let this personnel thing go. I refuse to let it go until we see Helms and Wright. You know, until I see Story get a chance over top and actually have to get beat, or see Branch and Moore and Kool-Aid on the field at the same time, Matt, through the whole game. You know, I don't think our secondary is going to lock in until that happens. I don't think we're going to see the best. I think we'll be able to win. I don't think there's anybody right now other than Ohio State that can really expose our secondary on that level because of the level of talent they have at quarterback and receiver. But Oh, we have an opportunity to do something big tomorrow, Steven. And Nick Saban, Coach Saban, he made a desperation move, and I think the guys will respond. Not necessarily because, the media's talking, but he knows how to deliver that message that says, hey, this is the point of no return. And we've seen how teams have responded in the end. When he didn't take that approach before the Clemson game, when we lost the offense, when we lost who was it? Lane Kiffin before the national championship game. When he didn't take that approach and tell guys to stop worrying about the media, you can tell our guys came in unprepared. They were worried about everything else. But what's supposed to happen on the field? Two and all of them. As much experience we had that year, all of them. So I think he's learned from that mistake. And he's being a lot more assertive. If you look at these practice clips that we were getting, Coach Saban is everywhere. He's not just with the DBs. He's everywhere. Coaches are everywhere. I hear coaches, just talking. Fuss. You hear players out there on the field communicate in warm-ups, guys. We see a different level of energy. So I feel like it's going to transfer to the field. And I think we wake the nation up this weekend, which I kind of hate to happen before we see Georgia in Atlanta. But I think we wake the nation up this weekend and they'd be like, oh, wow, it took them 11 games to get here. Okay, now we got a game. Now, but like I said from jump, I think we match up against the last two opponents in this regular season schedule. We match up perfectly against them. It's all about if guys want it bad enough. But schematically, we're going to definitely have to see some consistency in order to win these next two games. I'm ready to win this Iron Bowl game tomorrow. And I'm ready, Steven. I'm telling you, I'm ready. I'm not going nowhere tomorrow. I'm locking up in my house. I'm keeping all the bad juju out my room, all that good stuff. I got my scarf. This scarf has seen 7 national championships, Steve. 7 national championships. This scarf has seen 7 national championships. So I'm trying to make it 8 this year. It's old and raggedy, but hey, we keep that thing clean. We wash it every couple weeks or so and keep it clean. That thing got good juju on it. Every time I leave the house and I forget it, we lose the game. So I ain't gonna leave. I ain't leaving the house, and I ain't forgetting to have it around me this time. So I'm gonna hold it down, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Roll Tide, Blue Ridge Gang. I love y'all, TDA fam. Justin, John, Steven, I love y'all, man. Mr. Benny, I love you, man. Keep doing what y'all doing. Hey, Roll Tide, let's go whoop some War Eagle ass tomorrow. I love y'all. Kick y'all tomorrow, man, in the game chat.
Appreciate Senator Hines starting us off here on a Friday. We take this call here. You are live on the show. Iron Bowl week, game tomorrow, but how we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
It's Kyle from Foley.
Kyle is in the building.
Hey, Saban, he called and he was very upset. He was very upset at the fans, and he was probably upset at someone like me who starts off the call like this. When it comes to college football, it's Alabama, and then it's everybody else, people. Let's not get this little stunt twisted. He's just trying to get this team fired up. Let's be real. We are going against Mr. Finley tomorrow. Somebody who can't even throw the ball 10 yards. Auburn receivers are not good. We're not trying to hype this game up like it's something it's not. It's an Iron Bowl. We get that. It's at Jordan Hare. I got it. But this team that Auburn will display on the field tomorrow is not good. They just went to Columbia, and they got curb stomped. They are playing bad football. Alabama needs to go out there and take care of business. And then it's going to lead up to the biggest matchup of the year, the ultimate prize everybody's been waiting for. Alabama and Georgia. And don't you forget, Mr. Smith, it's still November. It's Alabama. It's where legends are made.
Gotta have Kyle's energy on this show. It is definitely still the month of November. We can take some calls here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name, where you calling from.
Well, hey there, Brother Stephen. This is Alan from Colorado calling in.
What's happening, my man?
Hey. Well, the reason I want to call today was I really liked something that one of those announcers said toward the end of the Alabama-Drake men's basketball game that was on earlier. He said that after that first loss of the season, that Alabama came out with the attitude of the hunter, not the hunted. And they took care of business in the game today. And I think if there's one thing I would look at, I would like to change about the team, is I would like for them to come together with that hunter attitude. We have been embarrassed in Jordan-Hare a bunch of times. I want to go out there tomorrow and just really take them to the woodshed. And then I want us to go to Atlanta, play Georgia with that hunter's attitude. Oh, Georgia, you think you're so big. You know, we've beaten you the last 6 times. You think you're something, we're coming after you. And just have that attitude of we're going to take you apart on the field. Because we know this is what's coming up, and then that will set us up for the playoffs and will scare everybody else to death, because they do not want to see an Alabama team on the field playing like Alabama, coming for their heads, making them want to quit, making them want to cry and go home. And that's what I had called in and had to say. Thank you a lot, Stephen. God bless. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I did. Bye-bye.
Appreciate Al from Colorado with that call. Bama need to make a statement here at Jordan-Hare tomorrow in the Iron Bowl. We continue with the phone lines right now. Line us up, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show on a Friday. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
I'm Bob, calling from Colorado also.
Bob, what's happening, brother?
Listen, I appreciate Kyle's enthusiasm also. I concur with what he's saying. I like our chances tomorrow. However, I am not so certain about our chances against Georgia. Now hear this out. I believe we have as much talent, if not more, than what Georgia has. Our offense is certainly better. Our quarterback is no doubt better. But I would be lying if I said our defense is better. But I believe our defense has enough talent to overcome Georgia's offense to give us a chance to win. And I'm certainly looking forward to Alabama beating Georgia. I'd love to see us back in the college football playoffs once again, because I believe this team is talented enough to win it all.
Absolutely. Appreciate my man Bob there from Colorado with that call. And this is a group that's trying to go back-to-back national championships for the first time since the 2011-2012 group did it. And it's tough to do that. But if this group can do that, you look at this year as being Saban's best coaching job. We grab this call right here. You're live on the show this evening. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, what's up, Steven? This is Sean from Huntsville.
Sean, big man, what's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. How you guys doing tonight?
Man, can't complain here, man. Had a great Thanksgiving, great turkey and whatnot, and now we're getting ready for this Iron Bowl.
Yeah, man, getting ready for the Iron Bowl real quick, because I know you got other callers. When I listen to Coach Saban, I've had that same talk several times with these kids here, James Clemens. I think the positives, but I do understand kind of what Coach Saban is saying, man. I do. I understand why he done it. Senator hit the nail on the head. You know what I mean? I get why Coach Saban did it, but you do have to understand where he's coming from. It's not just to play on the field. I think all of us Bama fans need to hear that. Think about it, man. When Saban first got here, when we was losing, the crowd was just raucous. The games were super packed. The 8A was super packed for years. We started winning, and it's got the 8A. So I understand the pandemic came last year and the year before, but even before that, the crowds had fell off a little bit for the 8A. And as of today, 2021, Coach Saban had to put out a PSA just to get Brian Denny to be on their feet. Fans leaving early. So we kind of have gotten entitled ourselves, man. We really have, to be completely honest with you. We really have kind of feeling that we're used to winning. Think about it, man. Brian Denny used to be crazy. Now you'd be hard-pressed to really get a good roar out of that thing unless somebody's scoring. It's totally different in there. I've been to several games. So I kind of understand where Coach Saban is coming from. So we need to really get a cold glass of water, throw it in our own face, and wake back up and realize, man, we're not entitled to win these games. So what? We got just as much talent. That don't mean nothing. You got to go out there and play on the field, brother. You got to go out there. Just because you roll that helmet out there don't mean such and such is going to lay down, as we all see. But Coach Saban is right. Every team is going to give us their best. So us as fans need to do our part, and the team do their part. And I feel like we'll be just fine. Let's get back to being Bama, man. Get back to being Bama, not whining cheesers. You know what I mean? We Bama. Roll Tide. Wanted to call in, and I'll continue to support as always, brother.
Absolutely. Sean from Huntsville with some great thoughts here on a Friday. And I get it. Like I said, I understand where Saban's coming from because I grew up in the DuBose, Franchione, Shula. I grew up right there. And that was where my enjoyment of Alabama football started, right there. I remember when people were talking about maybe Rich Rod will be the next head coach. Maybe Spurrier's the next head coach. Then Coach Saban comes in here, and we're seeing and we're living in what he's doing. So I get it. I get it from Saban's perspective. Then I also get it from the fan perspective. My thing is hopefully what he did on Wednesday and having the players back and the players seeing him have their back will get the players all in unison playing complete football. But continue with your thoughts here. 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. 205-448-1358. As you're getting your thoughts in here, we go to this quick topic, and that being one Evan Neal. Evan Neal, who is not from Alabama, he's from the state of Florida, but the big left tackle, the big 6'8", 350-pound left tackle who will be a top 5 pick in next year's NFL draft, he's getting people ready for the Iron Bowl. He was the highlight player to do the narration for Alabama's hype video for Auburn. And in that narration, he said, this game for him means an all-out fight, an all-out drag-out. We don't like them. They don't like us. It's an all-out fight. And love the tone that Evan Neal used, the passion in his voice, the excitement in his voice, because he knows how big, how massive this game is in terms of the rivalry for Alabama. Because we all know when players leave the program, in terms of graduation, NFL, what have you, one of the first questions they're asked by fans in the community, what was your record against Auburn? That question comes all the time. So looking forward to Saturday's matchup. For all the callers, just hold the break or call back in the next 10 minutes here. We're going to go to a break on the show. When we get back, we will sit down with my man Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, but talk this week in terms of the recruiting trail for the Crimson Tide. We'll be back after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
And we have dropped back in here from the break of number 1 ticket for Crimson Tide. Football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, fresh off of Turkey Day. We got the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Kickoff from Jordan-Hare Stadium. CBS will have the call on the game. We appreciate you, the Alabama football faithful, making this your show, your network, your channel, your platform, your space to be a part of your program, that being the Crimson Tide. But right now we go over to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up the man, the myth, the legend. People, y'all declare, I don't sleep. This man don't know what sleep is. He's going city to city, state to state, country to country, scouting out these recruits. None other than Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. Justin, what's going on, man?
Not much, Steven. Always glad to be on with you.
It's outstanding having Justin here on the show. So Justin, let's look at this right here. Alabama recently flipped a young man, 4-star running back from Texas to the Crimson Tide for the 2022 class by the name of Jamarian Miller here. How big was this flip? How big was this move? And especially with Alabama having guys like Keelan Robinson and Kyle Edwards to transfer, in the past, having Miller come in, what does he bring this team in this running back room, especially if he signs?
I think this is a significant pickup for Alabama. They did want a second running back in this 2022 recruiting class for quite a long time. Even when Emmanuel Henderson gave the Crimson Tide a verbal commitment, I heard several 2022 running backs talk about how Alabama's running back coach Robert Gillespie and also Nick Saban was telling them that they do want to add 2 running backs to the 2022 recruiting class, and Jamarian Miller was one of the prospects that they were going to continue to push for after Le'Veon Moss decommitted from the Crimson Tide. So he flipped his commitment from Texas to Alabama on Thanksgiving. Great news for the Crimson Tide. Great news for the Crimson Tide, and also great news for Crimson Tide football fans who were enjoying their Thanksgiving and got that good news on yesterday. But as far as what Miller brings to the table, he's a bigger back, 5'10", 195 pounds. And the thing that really stands out to me about his game is his physicality. He's a very tough runner. I don't feel he's a burner type of back. I don't think his speed is just going to pull away from people and he's going to just create some crazy separation with his speed. But he has nice speed, not crazy explosive speed. But I think the biggest part of his game is that toughness that he brings, his ability to just fight for extra yards. He's athletic as well. So he's a bit of an old school running back, a guy who has the potential to be an all-down back. So I think he's a guy the Crimson Tide are lucky to have in this 2022 recruiting class. And I think he's going to complement a guy like Emmanuel Henderson, who's a bit of a smaller guy, a guy who has a lot of speed, a guy who can line up at slot wide receiver possibly at the next level. I think just looking at the way both of those guys play, they complement one another really well.
If you're just tuning into the show here on a Friday, In My Own Words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama magazine. We got Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, on the phone lines right now. So, Justin, 5-star defensive back Jaleel Hurley released a top 5. Alabama was included in that. What position is Alabama in to land the 5-star DB? What's intriguing about him? Talk to me about this young man and what he could potentially bring if he chooses to commit to Alabama. I think that date for him is January the 22nd.
Yeah, Alabama's in a great position with Hurley. He has visited a couple of times this season. He took a visit during the summer as well. Talked about how he got an opportunity to learn a lot, like camped in Tuscaloosa, made a return trip to the Ole Miss game, and talked about how he enjoyed the atmosphere. He has a great relationship with Alabama's coaching staff. He has held an Alabama offer for more than a year now. He stands at 6'3" at the moment, a very long range defensive back, the type of prospect you want to have at the defensive back position when you think about his framework, that 6'3" size that he has. I had an opportunity to see him play at the end of this high school football season when Florence High School took on Gardendale High School, and 4-star defensive end Kelby Collins. And Jaleel Hurley was very impressive playing defensive back, rarely out of position. Technique looked really good. He's a guy who's supposed to be a polished defensive back at the next level. So he would be a huge get for the Crimson Tide in this 2023 recruiting class, as he does have that top 5. And I feel Alabama is in a good position with him. If I had to make a prediction now, I would say Alabama is the leader for Jaleel Hurley, as he will announce that commitment later on in the month of January.
Now, of course, here, Justin, you and I have both On tomorrow, Alabama will have four-star defensive lineman Curtis Perry at the Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare. Alabama with two opportunities to impress that young man for the 2022 class. But you also expressed to me that just a number of 2023 recruits will be at this game. Who are some of the main names, the headliners that Alabama is in pursuit of that will be visiting at the Iron Bowl?
I think I'll take a look at some of the in-state 2023 guys. I talked about one guy in the last question that is four-star defensive end Kelby Collins out of Gardendale High School in Gardendale, Alabama. A very physical defensive lineman. I think that is the biggest thing that stood out to me when I saw him at the end of that high school football season. He's a very strong defensive lineman. He was just powering through blocks and being very aggressive, continuing to put pressure on the quarterback. Most likely is going to be a defensive end at the next level. He's a national recruit. He's getting recruited by programs like Clemson, programs like Auburn and Alabama, and the Crimson Tide are going to try to keep guys like Collins inside the state in the 2023 recruiting class. And the Iron Bowl recruiting battles, I think, are going to be very intense when you take a look at that 2023 recruiting cycle and what the state is ready to produce. You can also take a look at a guy like Quay Russo out of Carver High School in Montgomery, Alabama. He's a really impressive product as well. The guy who has really bloomed during his junior season at Carver High School, plays linebacker, had an opportunity to see him play Russell County High School earlier in the year. He fits the mold. If you saw him right now, you would feel that he could possibly play for Alabama or Auburn on Saturday. He will be at the Iron Bowl as well. The Crimson Tide and both the Tigers have offered him as well. So a lot of 2023 recruits will definitely be in Jordan-Hare Stadium to take in this matchup and just enjoy the Iron Bowl and the rich rivalry that it is.
Absolutely. Keep your eye on all of these young men. Our own Justin Smith mentioning here that will be taking in one of the greatest rivalries, arguably the greatest rivalry in college football. You talk the Iron Bowl between Alabama and Auburn. If you're not in tune with Justin's show, you got to get in tune with that. If you truly value recruiting, if you truly value recruiting like your next meal, you got to check out the process every Tuesday and Thursday on the YouTube channel right here, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Justin is breaking down these guys like Captain Crunch breakfast cereal. Justin is really doing his thing when charting out these athletes on the recruiting trail. Justin, as always, man, we appreciate you coming on, giving us the lowdown here on what's happening on the recruiting pace. You take care of yourself, brother. Be good.
You do the same, Stephen, like always.
Yeah, I always enjoy Justin being on here, the show, giving us the information there on the recruiting trail. We're going to take a break here, folks. But when we come back, we are back on you, the Tide faithful. Blow the phone lines up. Give us your thoughts, your concerns, your passion, your ideas, your events. We'll go to the conversation with you after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
You're riding through your hood on a Friday, riding through here talking Crimson Tide football from the break. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciating you guys checking us out on today. Gucci Tide, a $5 donation, dropping that thing in the bucket. Appreciate the love coming from him, showing to us here on the show. But we go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen. Hey, it's Robert from Mobile.
Rob, what's going on, my man?
Hey, yeah, we're ready to see what Alabama does with Auburn tomorrow. I think they're going to do, show out like they ought to, and put the beat down on Auburn and eradicate some of the voodoo dolls and the witch doctors in Jordan Hare Stadium and and make them okay. Your curses won't work quite so effectively this time like they have in the last couple of games. But I disagree with some of your calls about the fans and so-called, with the Saban, I guess, somewhat calling out the fans to try to fire up the team mostly. But the fans aren't spoiled in the sense that we don't have unrealistic expectations on the team. I mean, we've heard some former players criticize, give a critique on some of the play they've seen on the field. That's all anybody's done. Whether I'm listening to your show or other shows on talk radio, the fans have been fair, in their criticism. The criticism are fair. It's, you guys have missed busted some plays. The play has been inconsistent. Pointing that out is not being spoiled, and is not being, overly critical. It's not being satisfied. In college football, a win is not a win. You have to have style points in college football. It's not like the NFL. NFL, a win is a win because, there's more teams in the playoff and the teams are closely matched. In college football, that's not the case. The reason why Alabama dropped a spot in the polls when Ohio State jumped us is because of how we've been playing and Ohio State been playing. Both teams have been winning. Both teams are 10-1. However, Ohio State has looked better. Well, that means a win is not a win. How you win does matter in college football. So, and the teams have been winning ugly lately. That's again not being spoiled or ungrateful to point that out because it does matter. If it didn't matter, then that would be a point. But it does matter. We're 10-1, and so is Oklahoma. Why are we ranked higher than Oklahoma? Because how Oklahoma's won. Their wins have not looked good. And so it does matter. The win is not just a win. And winning by 1 point or 7 points against certain teams, hey, that's not good. So, I mean that points to some things that aren't good, especially when Georgia has been blowing out those same teams. If Georgia can blow them out, they shouldn't all be playing us closely. And when that's the case, well, hey, that's something we got to point out. And if former players can point it out, and if Coach Saban sometimes can point it out, why can't we as fans point it out? Because I will point it out, and I'm not caring who doesn't like it. I will point it out. And so it's I know he said it just to try to fire up the team, but if you guys want people's opinion of you to change, well, then the play has to improve. Otherwise, we have to say what we see. It's not doing you any good if we keep lying to you that you look better than you really do. And I for one, I'm not going to do it. So if you want people's opinion to change, well, then the play has to change. Otherwise, why should our opinions change? So, but I think they're going to put together a good game this weekend. And the bottom line for me is winning. The next step is winning the Iron Bowl. Nothing's more important than that. Now, this is one game we can't look past because this means a lot. Even if we win, I'd rather win the Iron Bowl. If you give me a choice between winning the Iron Bowl or beating Georgia, I want to beat Auburn more than anything. We don't have to win. We don't have to win a championship every year. And in my opinion, this probably isn't a championship level team that it can beat Georgia and Ohio State. But right now, if we're beating Auburn, yeah, this team can beat Auburn, and that's what I'm going for now. What happens after that? If we win more games after that, it's one game at a time. I'll be happy. But right now, it is Auburn.
Absolutely. Robert from Mobile giving his thoughts here on the show on a Friday. We continue with calls. Appreciate Robert there for his thoughts there. We grab this call here. You are live on the show here on a Friday. What's going on? How are we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
What was that old song they used to sing? Let's see. War Eagle, fly down the field, flew into the goalpost, fell dead on the field. Hey, War Eagle, fly down the field, the stench of Dixieland. Hey, I can tell you one thing, Stephen. If you've never been to Jordan-Hare Stadium, you'll never go back after tomorrow's experience. I've been all over this country, and I've never seen the most obnoxious fans in one damn stadium in my life is down there is that damn Cal College at Auburn. You know, Uncle Charles sent that squirrel up here. Yesterday, my aunt was cooking dressing in the kitchen, and I heard something hit the window. She said, "Come here, Waylon." She said, "Somebody's throwing something at the window." I went in the kitchen and looked. That damn squirrel was on the power line out there with an Auburn shirt on, throwing acres at my window because I had my big Alabama flag hanging out there right as you come in my driveway. Man, he threw another one. That right foot slipped, his tail hit the ground. I can tell you one thing, it's just what I heard. Pow, the lights went out, blowed his nuts off. I'll see y'all tomorrow after the nuts get blowed off. Roll Tide, baby, roll. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate Wagon has channeled his inner Uncle Charles there. I like that. I like that coming from Wagon right there. We continue with calls on a Friday, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358 here. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? State your name, where you calling from.
Man, you know who this is. This is William up here in Iowa, man.
What's going on, my man?
That's hard to follow that, man. I tell you what, Waylon cracks me up.
Well, he found.
I'm anxious.
I think he found his inner Uncle Charles there, William.
I think so. Man, I'm fired up tomorrow. I tell you what, I got my little sticks fixed up back there, ready to roast some tiger there and tomorrow there after the game, and I'm looking for a good one there. It's this is a game that any Alabama fan looks forward to most of all. I mean, this one right here coming up, and you know, it's either do or die. You know, with both teams. You know, and you know who I'm rooting for there in that picture there right in the back there. I'll have my title towel ready to go, just waving that thing in there. Roll Tide.
Absolutely, William, my man William from Iowa calling in here, helping us out on the show on a Friday. We get this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
What's going on, Big Steven? This is Tobias calling from Fresno, man. How you doing?
Tobias, what's happening with your brother?
Oh, man, it's going great. Just had a wonderful, thank the Lord, Thanksgiving. Just God's been so good to us, man. And this Thanksgiving in particular, just spend time with family and praying for this nation, man, that people would be more grateful for this great country we live in, man. And we talk about all of our differences all the time, man. We don't talk about our similarities and all that we have in common and how blessed we really are, you know, in this time, man. And even in the ability to have a weekend like this with these rivalries, where that's the biggest, well, many people's biggest issues and many people's biggest getaways is football, that we get to enjoy this, man. So I wanted to just, actually, I want to talk football, but I want to reserve my comments, man, really directed to you. You know, this week getting the news about Cecil Hurt passing away, and just what a great writer and a great columnist, great editor, and just being the voice and the literary voice of Alabama football. And I listened to, not just reading his columns over the years, but just, listening to what people said about him, and Nick Saban speaking about how he was able to confide in him a lot of confidential things, and and how he protected that. And Steve, you know, since I've been calling you or supporting you, I've always commended you on the great literary, journalistic work you've done and just how you've grown. And so, you know, just in the wake of him passing, to know that we have journalists coming up like yourself, I think sports programs are in good hands if you all continue down that journalistic path, not trying to just get clicks, but being able to tell the truth in a manner that allows for intrigue and interest and to just help the product of football, you know. And so with you, man, I listened to your question that you asked in the press conference. I said, man, Steve is you just continue to hit home runs, man. I heard your question asking about the O-line, and without diminishing the O-line's play or anything like that, you know, the way you worded it was really to see, it was kind of coded the way you put it, because you were simply saying, would we probably see J.C. Latham or somebody else kind of step into that role, given that there's been little issues in the O-line, but you were real coy about it and creative, you know, the way you worded it. And I think Nick Saban got you right away and, you know, and came away with basically the people that's on the field is the best we got, you know, right now that's ready to play winning football, answers your question. So, man, I just wanted to commend you, man. Keep going down this path. You know, it's something when, you know, I first see you, I say, man, look at this brother, look at this African-American young man, you know, putting in the work, creating content. You and the other guy was the recruiter guy, and y'all was, you know, on the podcast. And then now to see that this is paying off, and I believe you elevate from where we have to identify you as African-American journalist to now journalist. That doesn't matter. That it's just you're providing a quality product for your field, man. So I just wanted to call you to commend you on that in the wake of Cecil Hurts, man. And you already know this is going to be a game. I'm calling it at 48-17. Roll Tide. Keep doing a great job. I'll hit you up with the super chat.
Appreciate Tobias Brookins there for his thoughts there and those words there. And like I mentioned on Wednesday, where Cecil was concerned, he not only was a tremendous colleague to the people he worked with at the Tuscaloosa News for nearly 40 years, but he also helped foster a new generation of writers, a new generation of talent. So most definitely that man will be missed for all that he did. We continue with calls here on the phone lines. We go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Justin from Anniston, Alabama.
Justin, what's going on with you, man?
Not a lot, man. Roll Tide. I've had a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I'm enjoying the show tonight. And I just wanted to say, you know, everybody's kind of commenting tonight on Coach Saban's, you know, rant that he went on this week, which I loved. It was, you know, one of those rants where I actually stood up off the couch and started jumping up and down and clapping. That's how much I was loving it. Like I was, and you got to know, like, if somebody like me at home is that invested in what he's saying, imagine how the players are feeling, you know. And that's the point that you brought up that, you know, I just wanted to echo on here. Like, this is absolutely going to motivate these players to go out there and give it their all for him, because what he's doing is he's saying, despite, you know, whatever the fans, you know, some fair weather fans might think about your performance or that you're not doing, you know, well enough, he's saying, listen, I've got your back, period. I think you are capable. I think you're working your tail off. I think you're a great team, and I've got you. And, you know, it really reminded me a lot of the rant he went on before the 2014 Texas A&M game. And ironically, we had just struggled with Arkansas the week before that. And what happened was we blew out Texas A&M 59-0. And I remember that game very, very well in Bryant-Denny. So, you know, I'm glad that Coach Saban did what he did. And I also wanted to say, I hope tomorrow that this team is 100% focused on the Auburn Tigers, because this to Auburn is like the national championship. I mean, they don't play for championships. They play to beat Alabama. It's that simple. And we've got to show up to play just as hard. Roll Tide.
Appreciate the call right there. And like I mentioned, I understand where Coach Saban was coming from. And during the press conferences this year, if you hear Coach Saban speak, there's a reason why he's not going in hard on these young men, because he knows how young this team is. He knows he has to have a different style of coaching now versus what he did in years past. Also, he understands this team has the capability. It has the talent. It has the capability. It's just a different form of coaching, a different form of talking to these young men. And sometimes you have to take some heat. You have to take some punches. You have to take some shade being thrown at you just to let those young men know, hey, I got you. Look, I'm absorbing the heat. I'm absorbing the contact. I'm taking the bullets. I'm showing you as a proud papa, I'm here for you. So just seeing it happen, I think the players are going to respond big time on tomorrow. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? State your name and where you're calling from. Live on the show, caller.
Hello?
You're live right here, caller. We got you. You're live. We lost that call right there, unfortunately. We got a call right here, though. You're live on the show. How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is Michael from Columbia, South Carolina.
Michael, what's happening, man?
Well, Alabama has a very, difficult task today against the Auburn Tigers for the Iron Bowl. And, Alabama's been playing so good the last couple of games, but Auburn, a team that has nothing to lose. How do you feel offensively and defensively Bama has to play to defeat the Auburn Tigers?
Well, offensively, Michael, you got to come out fast. You got to come out fast because that crowd is going to be deafening. They treat this like it's the Super Bowl, so you have to take the crowd out the game. Whether you're going to be passing first, running first, whatever Bill O'Brien has in that call sheet, you got to get on the board quick. You got to take the crowd out the game. You got to be efficient with it, and you got to finish drives. You got to finish drives strong, put points on the board. Defensively for Alabama, taking Tank Bigsby out the frame. That is Auburn's bread and butter. That's their best offensive player. You take Tank Bigsby out the frame and you put the game on T.J. Finley. You beat us. And you bring pressure to T.J. Finley. You disguise coverage. You create some turnovers. That's how you get it done there on offense and defense. Appreciate Michael from South Carolina for that call there. We're going to actually go to Tobias Brookins with that 50 piece. Tobias Brookins walks in here with that $50 donation, showing the love here in the Super Chats. Appreciate that coming from him. We go to a quick topic right now, and that being one, Josh Jacobs, former Alabama running back. He had a huge impact on the game yesterday between the Cowboys and the Raiders. Raiders got the 33-30 win at AT&T Stadium, but Josh Jacobs, over 100 yards from scrimmage, did have a rushing touchdown, caught the ball out the backfield, ran the ball with power. And the Raiders still an opportunity to make the playoffs. They're kind of on the outside looking in now at 6-5. But this is a group still in the hunt, still with the chance to kind of backdoor their way in the postseason, maybe grabbing one of those wild card spots. But big upset to Josh Jacobs, over 100 yards from scrimmage with a touchdown, helping the Raiders get the 3-point win over the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. We go to a break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, guess what? Locker Drop is back! We return with everybody's favorite segment, the Iron Bowl edition of Locker Drop. We tidy up loose ends with that right after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to STSfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back in from the break of a number one form for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate all of you for checking us out on today, making this your show, your network, your channel, your platform, your place to talk your favorite program, that being Crimson Tide football. But before we get into the final topic of conversation, I got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So, for all of you fans still overjoyed with the Crimson Tide's national championship from the 2020 campaign, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. This means you grab you an 18 of them things folk hoodie, t-shirt, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts. Designs that feature all 18 championship years on the back. You head on over to TDAwear.com. Do it right now. TDAwear.com. You go have a championship collections merch tab, and you get you that gear today. Show them that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But like I said, people, lock or drop back. We're back with it, baby. We are back with it. The 6-pack of interactive questions. And this is how we do it here. If you fill in the question, you're locking it. If you're not filling it, you're dropping it. Our own John Ivory will be conducting polls in the chat. So when the polls come in, you get your lock on, you get your drop on. We're going to have fun with this segment, the Iron Bowl edition of this. So first and foremost, thought number one, and it goes to Bryce Young. So Alabama quarterback Bryce Young will set the single season school record for touchdown passes. In this game against Auburn, Bryce Young will set the single game school record for touchdown passes. Right now, the single game school record is held by Tua Tagovailoa with 6 TD passes, which means Bryce Young would have to throw 7. And he's capable of doing this. He's capable. We've seen him hit 5 touchdown passes 3 to 4 times this year. When Bryce Young gets hot, he gets rolling. When the offensive line gives him time to throw the football, this young man, this sophomore from California, he can spin the magic bean. We see what Jamison Williams can do when he gets open. We've seen John Mechie get better in these last couple of weeks here. So we know the capability that Bryce Young has. But in your opinion, Tide fans, does Bryce Young set a brand new single-game touchdown passing record against Auburn? 48% of you are locking this. 52% of you are dropping this. 50% now are locking this. 50% are dropping this. Now it's half and half. It's 50-50 up here. I'm gonna drop this one. I'm going to drop it because I feel like in this matchup, I think Bryce Young will throw 4 touchdowns. If Alabama gets out to an early lead and starts fast and puts, the foot on Auburn, I can literally see this being a moment where in the second half, Coach Saban will work Paul Tyson in. He will work Jalen Milroe in. But definitely, if Alabama jumps out there to an early lead there, establishing its will and its momentum and its, force there on Auburn in that first half, but we'll be dropping that one on Bryce Young. We move on here to the next thought here in the segment. This one goes to Jamison Williams here. So Jamison fast, speed to burn Williams, will have a kickoff return for a touchdown against Auburn. Jamison Williams will return a kickoff for a touchdown against the Tigers. I go back to 2 years ago at Jordan-Hare. Remember Jalen Waddle took a 98-yard kickback for a score. Now, J-Mo has the same straight line speed as Waddle. They both hit, I think, 23 miles per hour on the catapult system there. Now, Waddle, probably a bit more twitch quickness than Williams, but the straight line speed, definitely there. And then we saw earlier this season against Southern Miss where Williams became the first player in Alabama history to have 2 kick returns for touchdowns in the same game. So he's got speed, he's got burners, he's got explosiveness, high volume playmaking ability. I still can't believe how this guy did not get on the field much against Ohio State. He's a big-time playmaker here at Alabama. But your thoughts here, fans. Does Jamison Williams take a kick return back for a touchdown against Auburn? 39% of you are locking this, 61% are dropping this. I'm going to go with the 39% and say lock this in, put it in the bag. I think Jamo gets it. I think Jamison Williams returns a kickback, and don't be shocked if it's the first kickoff of the game. Do not be shocked, because we saw this against Southern Miss. He took the first kick of the game 100 yards to the crab for a touchdown. So I'm locking this in on Jamison Williams. He takes that kick back. We go now. Third option here, third statement here in lock or drop. This one goes to the Alabama tight ends in the sense of Jaleel Billingsley and Cameron Latu. Jaleel Billingsley and Cameron Latu will each catch a touchdown pass in the Iron Bowl. Jaleel Billingsley, Cam Latu will each have a touchdown reception in Saturday's game. And you're going to need both of these two as the season progresses, because both guys, 6'3" and tall, are physical specimens at that tight end position. They create so many mismatches on the field, matchup problems for defensive coordinators and defensive players. And, with that type of athletic ability, it makes Bryce Young's job easier when you have those tight ends that make those plays. Now, I get it, neither of the two have been truly consistent all year. Yes, Cameron Latu has 6 touchdown catches, but he's also dropped a fair amount of passes. Jaleel Billingsley, he's been kind of up and down all year, but at some point, you need both of these two men balling out, having success here on the field, because with their skill set, they're going to be huge as Alabama gets into the SEC championship game against Georgia and potentially the college football playoff. But your thought here, fans, Alabama's tight ends, Jaleel Billingsley, Cameron Latu, will each have a touchdown reception against Auburn. 58% are locking this, 42% dropping this. I'm locking this puppy in also. I think we're going to get the confidence going with Jaleel, confidence going with Cam Latu. I think both of those two will each have a touchdown catch and really pump themselves up going into Georgia and throughout the remainder here of the season. We move down here to now this thought here in lock or drop, and this would be, does Alabama have a 100-yard rusher, Does Bama have a 100-yard rusher and 2 100-yard receivers in the Iron Bowl? A 100-yard rusher and 2 100-yard receivers in the Iron Bowl. It's possible, especially when you look at Brian Robinson's had a good year. Over 900 yards rushing. He's closing in on that 1,000-yard season. I think he has 4 games this year where he's went over 100 yards. When it comes to Jamison Williams and John Mechie, they have 2 games. Well, it's 2 games where they both went over 100 yards in that same game. That would be the Tennessee matchup and the Arkansas matchup a week ago. But can we see here where you've got Brian Robinson or Trace, or a running back goes over 100 yards against Auburn, and you got 2 receivers that go over 100 yards against the Tigers? Let's see what we got here. We got the 50% lock and the 50% drop. So still the half with the 48% lock and the 52% drop. So the drop here has the edge. I'm going to go with the 52% drop in this one. I just can't quite see all of it happening. I can see a scenario where B-Rob goes over 100 yards and either or of Jamison Williams, John Mechie goes over 100, but I don't see the combination of all 3 players having 100-yard days here in their particular craft, so dropping that one. But Moving on here, next thought here in lock or drop. This goes to the Alabama defense, and in particular one, Dallas Turner. True freshman outside linebacker Dallas Turner from Florida. Dallas Turner will total 3+ sacks. Dallas Turner will have 3 or more sacks in the Iron Bowl. This is a young man that is starting to come alive here on defense for Alabama. Coach Saban's talked about it. He practices the right way. He plays the right way. He has great practice habits. He watches film. He wants to excel. He wants to be the best. He's a dog out there. Will Anderson has taken this young man under his wing, and according to Anderson, Turner's starting to really have fun. He's celebrating with his teammates. He's making big plays out there. At times it feels like Anderson and Turner are competing for who's going to attack the quarterback first. To me, it looks like a young Ryan Anderson, Tim Williams out there on the field. That's what it looks like. Anderson off one side, killing you. Turner off the other side, killing you. It looks like a young Ryan Anderson and Tim Williams on the field. You talk Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, but the thought process is Dallas Turner, 3+ sacks in this game. Do you see this, fans? 53% of you locking that, 47% of you dropping that. I'm going to go. Let's put that in the bag and lock it in. I think Dallas Turner gets those 3. He gets at least 3. I think he gets at least 3. He's getting better each game. Remember, Will Anderson did not get his first sack until the 7th game of the season last year in the COVID year, and then he took off after that sack against Auburn. Dallas Turner did not get his first sack this year until the 7th or 8th game. So both guys kind of on that same trajectory. I see it happening for Dallas Turner. I think he gets those 3+ sacks. You can put that on the board there. So last but not least here, we get into sticking with the defense, and this is Alabama will shut down Tank Bigsby and force at least 2 turnovers. Bama will shut down Auburn running back Tank Bigsby and have 2+ turnovers. The entire week, the Alabama players have talked about this game's important. This is a big game. This game means so much to the Alabama community. The focus is always on, what was your record against Auburn when you leave the Alabama program? Whether it was Brian Robinson, LeBron Ray, Jordan Battle, they all spoke this week. We are not looking past Auburn. We're not overlooking Auburn. We got our attention, our focus on the Tigers. During Wednesday's practice, Coach Saban talked about the energy at practice, the effort at practice, the attention at practice. Guys not having the poor me's, that mentality that they had against Arkansas. We know that led to being a game where Bama did not shut the door when it was supposed to shut the door, fast and quick. So this practice right here, we've seen much more intensity, much more focus, much more effort, much more attention placed on how important this game is. But for you as fans, Crimson Tide shuts down Tank Bigsby and forces 2+ turnovers. 79% of you knocking this, 21% dropping this. For the final time, let's throw it in the bag. We gonna lock this sucker in here. Put the money in the bag. I like this right here. I think Alabama in this matchup, I think the defense gets that penetration, able to prevent Tank Bigsby from getting going. I think Christian Harris, Henry To'oTo'o, the linebackers will be able to fight off these blocks, dissect the play, get to Bigsby before he gets going. But I think more importantly, I think Bama's going to be able to force TJ Finley, you beat us in this football game. And when you're able to do that and disguise coverage on the back end, you can force some turnovers. You can create some negative plays. So we're going to lock that one in as well. Well, people, lock or drop. I told you we were going to bring it back. It was only a matter of time. Had to pull it out at the right moment. So there you go. your locker drop 6-pack of interactive questions discussing your Crimson Tide. That was dope right there, John. That was pretty cool. As always, Bama fans, you can if you're trying to get all things Crimson Tide football, if you want the best news and Alabama football information, you get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you. Check it out. We got you iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. There we go. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Bama football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine, have those sent to your door. That link in the description. You can also get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA, the magazine, by going to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link in the description. Also, the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com. You can get that as well. That link in the description. Also, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time, we got the TDA watch party. If you have not found your Alabama football family, if you haven't found your Alabama football family, you check us out on YouTube. 2 p.m. Central Time, kickoff of the Iron Bowl TDA watch party. We got the fun gang of my guys, John Ivory, Justin Smith, and now we've got the founder and CEO of TDA, Mr. Benny Bice, will be in the building as well. So we got the huge fun gang here for the TDA watch party. Check us out tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Time. I'll also be just throwing some updates in there as well, as I will be at Jordan Hare for the matchup. But until next time, people, you know what time it is. Husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, we can hear. But still, do the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored. Be sure to get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the Iron Bowl tomorrow. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. You've been listening to In My Own Words.